All right, my friends, this is our first session of the fall yoga, first class of the fall yoga session 2022. And we're going to start as we do by lying down on our backs and just bending your knees and dropping those knees in towards each other. And as we all come back to the mat after not only summer, but after really a little summer vacation, right? We've been away for a little while. We want to reorient that fall is now this time of turning inward. Summer is the most outward, young, energy focused kind of season. And you know, we're out and about and it's fun and days are long and it's hot and there's a lot of play. And now we feel that turn back to work, to the quieter and shorter days. And just check in with yourself. How are you? Just as you lie here for a moment, checking in. How's your body? How's your heart? And where is your mind's attention right now in this moment? And let yourself take some long, deep breaths through the nostrils. Just noticing the quality of your breathing. And as you come back to your yoga mat, what do you need from your yoga practice? Set intention for this season, reconnecting with your practice, reconnecting with yourself on your mat, and just acknowledging that we're going into a new season with a new flavor, a little cooler, shorter days, moving towards winter, but now we have the abundance of fall, all the harvest. So set that intention, just being with your own intention as we begin. And then let's start as we do. We're going to bend those knees if they're not already bent, feet wide, and take a big inhale and exhale your knees over to the right, looking left. And windshield wiper, moving your head the opposite way as your knees go. And just side to side. How is your back? How are your hips? How's your neck and shoulder area? Taking a few of these. Couple more. And let's come to center with the knees and then interlace your fingers and reach your hands right up towards the sky and then take them overhead. So you're getting really long here. Your arms are overhead on the ground. And we're going to go back to windshield wiper. So that the arms are stretching up over your head towards the wall behind you. And then back to windshield wiper. And right there, we are working a stretch through the side chest and the side waist. And the lungs and the large intestines are the two organs that we work with in the fall. So we've got lungs and large intestines. Couple more of these and just noticing how does it shift when you take the arms overhead. And then when you take your legs to the left, let's leave them to the left and reach just a little bit longer through the arms and breathe into that right side waist and right lung. Nice deep breaths there. Checking in with the lower back. And then we'll come to center and take the legs over to the right. Same thing, just dropping them there. Breathe into the left side, that left rib cage, the left lung, the left side waist. And then back to center and relax the arms and hug your knees into your chest. Let's give a little squeeze. Literally wrap your arms around your shins. Make it a tight ball so you feel a little stretch in your lower back. And then place the head down. Let's bring our legs straight up. Spread the toes. Palms of your hands are on the ground. And bend and straighten. Just bend and straighten the legs. Flicking that little mermaid tail that we've got. And firm the navel towards the spine. So you're working your core. Couple more. And next time you take the legs straight, go wide together, bend, straighten, wide together, bend, straighten. That's it. Keep going there. Spreading your toes, so stay alert to the tips of your toes. Just a little action in your feet. Couple more here. Checking in with those inner groins. And then next time you bring the legs together, just go ahead and bend the knees, take the hands back around the back of the head, interlaced, and lift your head up, straighten the legs again, and then right leg comes down. You're lifting your shoulder blades up off the floor, and we're just gonna very slowly scissor the legs. One leg down, one leg up. You're holding your shoulder blades up off the ground. Your neck is supported. You're reaching through the inseam of your inner leg into the big toe. Breathing here. Feeling that core working. Nice control. Couple more. Maybe feeling a little bit of heat in the belly. And then next time the one leg comes out, let's place the head down, bend the knees, place your feet back down on the ground as wide, a little wider than your hips. And then lift up again with your shoulder blades and your head, and then left arm reaches across that right thigh. And we're gonna twist and turn, and you're just rolling through with the bottom tips of those shoulder blades, just grazing the floor here. Breathing, reaching one hand across the outside of the thigh, getting that little twist going on, firming the navel towards the spine, reaching through your fingertips, reach right past those, each thigh as you turn. Yep, that's it. Couple more, knees are bent, yes. Nice, you guys. One more. And then to center, and we'll bring the head down and just hug those knees into the chest again. Ooh, little Charlie horse here. And from here, we're going to rock up to sitting. And as we rock up to sitting, go ahead and come over and onto all fours. And let's take the knees back, curl the toes under. Press your hips back and walk your hands forward so that you're literally scrunching your fingers forward so that as you pull your hips back, you're going to stretch through the armpits and through that side chest and bowing your forehead to the floor. And then inhale and roll up and through and back. And let's just take that nice flow through and back. Rolling through. Couple more of these, feeling into your back. How is that flow? And if you feel different in your body, like really take that in. You know, if you're noticing there's more ease or more difficulty. Notice that. And let's come into our upward dog variation. Lift the knees up off the ground and then lift yourself up to downward dog and walk your dog. Bend one knee, then the other. Letting the head go and ground through those hands. Gently press down and forward, lengthening through to the fingertips. Nice. Tilting the tail. Yeah, so you're still in your downward dog and you're lifting the hips up and you're opening up. Yeah, you're opening up your armpits. Nice, Andy, just like that. Breathing. So from here, and we know these things, right? You're right there. You're going to settle into your downward dog. Reach your left heel down towards the ground and take that right leg up, 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 up. Reach into the ball of the foot and then just bend the knee to the nose. Nothing but the leg is moving. So reaching up, bending knee to nose, reaching up, bending knee to nose. And keep going like you're juicing up your right hip joint. Yes. Couple breaths there. Next time you lift it up, we're going to roll the hip open, bend the knee, look under that right armpit. Get that little stretch through the right side waist and step through to your lunge. Let's come into our lunge. Bring the back knee down. Walk your hand to the top of that right thigh. So if you gals find that your foot is back, I'm going to say walk your right foot forward a little bit. And then relax the shoulders. And there you go, Andy. Press into your knee and then gently lift the breastbone and kind of lean back. You should feel a little stretch through that left groin. And then we're going to just press up and out of this a little bit and bend into it. So it's just a little lift up and then a bend in. Yeah. And thinking about like you're massaging your left quad open and that left psoas muscle. And the back, relax those shoulders. Yeah, there we go. One more here. Start to come into the lunge. Let's take the arms wide, the palms up, and then reach the arms up and interlace them again and turn the palms up towards the sky. And then right there with the palms facing the sky, you're just going to take your hands back a little bit. And take a few big breaths here. Nice big breaths. Again, we're opening up the lungs. You're using that right leg. You're pressing down into your right foot. There's some nice support there. And then slip the hands apart. Interlace the hands behind your back. Reach back this time. Lift your hands away from your back body. And then as though you're leaning over a bolster, just a little bit of opening across the collarbones and in that back body. Couple breaths. Lifting the hands away from the back body. Nice. And then from here, we're going to release. Left hand on the ground, right hand on the right thigh. Lift that back knee up. Pull the belly around and take your twist. Take that right arm up towards the sky and hug your right knee into the midline. Hug that left heel into the midline. Nice. Wow, you two look great here. Top hand is nicely facing the same direction as your face and you're breathing. Let's take a last breath here. And then hand comes down, plant the hand, step back to plank pose. We're going to hang out in plank pose. And then just literally micro bending your elbows. Just 5 little micro bends, tiny little micro bends. Breathing, reaching into your heels. Yeah, you guys look good, you girls. Last 2. And then lift to downward dog. Take it back to downward dog. And then left leg lifts up. Same thing, bending knee into nose. Knee to nose, breathing. That's it. Keep those elbows firming in towards the midline. Feel into this hip joint, like how is this side? relative to the other side. And last two. And then lift that leg up, roll the hip up and bend the knee, look under the left armpit. Breathing. And then we'll step through to a lunge. Let's come all the way through. Back knee comes down. Walk your hands to the top of that left thigh. So again, walk your left foot forward enough so that we're not in this square shape, but it's a little bit forward. And then press into your knee, relax the shoulders, shrug them down away from the ear, and press into the left foot and take the hips back, and then come into the lunge. So again, just a little massage here. Try to relax those shoulders. Nice and easy. Make sure you feel stable. So the back toes are curled under. We're working with that left leg and the left foot. Feel the whole foot pressing down. The toes are spread. Your inner and outer heel are grounded. Couple more. And then we start to come into the lunge, but nice support in the left leg. Take the arms wide, palms turn up. Interlace the hands again, take the opposite clasp, and then turn the palms up to the sky. And take those hands back just a little bit and breathe into this stretch. Nice big opening of the lungs here. The legs should feel like they're working, they're supporting you. And then we're going to separate those hands, bring them behind your back, interlace, reach the arms back, nice wide collarbones, a little lift of the sternum bone, breathing. Big breaths. And slowly release. Let's plant the hands, right hand down, back leg lifts up. You're going to take your left hand onto that thigh, take the twist, reach your left arm up towards the sky, and then hug that midline. Your right heel, back heel is hugging the midline. Your left knee is hugging the midline. Andy, lift that back thigh bone a little more. Yeah, yes, like that. Top hand, you feel your fingers, they're slightly glued together, and you're spinning the spine open from the torso. It's like a nice twist in your spine. Nice. And then exhale and step back to plank pose. Let's come to plank pose. Holding here, nice strong body, reach into the heels. 5 little bends, just little tiny bends. Not too big. Heads in line with the spine. Crown of the head's in line with the tailbone. And then back to plank, back to downward dog. Let's walk it back. Bend one knee, then the other. And from here, walk your feet to the middle of the mat. Go ahead and turn your feet out and then come down into a nice squat. And let's, and if your heels lift up, you might even roll your mat just a little bit, tuck it under, And Danny, you can take your feet wider. Take them a little wider, and that will also help. And then we're in a squat here. Woo! Pressing those knees wide, palms together, sinking the hips down. Couple big breaths here. Lifting the breastbone, nice. Heels are on the floor. Lifting that breastbone towards the thumbs. And then fingertips come down. Let's go ahead and lift the hips. Turn your toes forward, bend your knees, interlace the hands behind the back, reach the arms overhead. Your belly's on your thighs. And you're going to inhale, lengthen the back of the legs a little bit, bend the knees. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, bend. And a nice few bend and straighten. Next time you bend the knees, drop the arms down, let the head go and roll up to standing. And let's come on up and just shake that out. All right, my friends, so today we are gonna grab our block and we'll have a block accessible. Put it over towards the right foot side of your mat. But before we do anything with that block, let's take the feet wide, turn the toes out. Hands are gonna come onto the hips, and then you're just gonna fold over fingertips on the ground here. And so we know this one, your feet are, they're pretty wide. You want to come into a squat to the right. Keep the left sole of the foot on the ground and make sure that knee is really in line with your heel and your hip. And your butt is sinking down more than your head. And then bend that left knee and glide to the left. Yes, that's it. So Danny, right there, see if you can reach the sternum bone forward, the shoulder blades come down the back, and then gliding over to the right. And if you want, you can bring, sorry about dog action, palms together, the heart, you can glide, or you can keep your hands right on the floor. But your main thing here is the glide, the inner groins, and the connectedness of your feet to, oh, that's my mailman, sorry. Your connectedness of your feet to the mat, to the ground. Imagine your spider women on a building where you've climbed up the building and your feet are suctioning onto that building. And that's what's keeping you up there. So a couple more of these. Breathing. Sorry. And then back to center, both knees are bent, fingertips are on the ground. You're gonna straighten the legs, turn your heels out. You might want your block. We're gonna take that right hand either on the ground or on a block and take a twist open to the left. And just find that stretch, that twist, but the stretch through the inner groin, breathing here. Tucking your chin in towards the collarbone. And then left hand comes down, place it on the block, turning, 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 right arm comes up. So right here, we're working both the lungs and then that large intestine twists help with the large intestine. It's like, oh yeah. So one more twist to each side. Let's bring that right hand down, place it down, turn to the left, take the left arm up. Breathe, maybe wiggle your hips a little bit, feel that. How's the back? Are you in your left fingertips? Can you feel your right palm really pressing down? And then left hand comes down, turning, turning, right arm coming up, breathing, yes. And then top hand coming down. And as you come down, move your block forward if it's there. Hands right on your hips, and let's come on up to standing. And just step the feet together for a moment. Shake that out a little bit. All right, so here's where we're going. I'm gonna show it this way. Let's see if this works. So the block is gonna come to the top of the mat. Your right foot is forward. Left foot is back, and I'm opening, so this is Trikonasana or Trikyasana. Right heel is intersecting the arch of the back foot, and then right here, I'm gonna take my right thigh bone back, lengthening my right side waist, and then that block is there for the right hand, and you're spinning the chest open, and that left arm is reaching up towards the sky. Yes. So Danny, turn your block up so you can get your full palm on the block. Yeah, and then both of you, nice straight legs. Reach to the outer arch of the back foot, lifting the inner arch of the left heel or left foot. And then the right leg, you're pressing down through the ball of that foot, really grounding. And from the legs and then that right hand, nice, Andy, you are spinning the heart up towards the sky, right? Now take your left palm, turn it towards your face, and reach that top arm overhead in a side stretch. So yeah, so all the way, yes, just like that. The left palm facing the ground. So you've got this sense of reach through the side waist, breathing. Yes, and now what we're gonna do here, stay with me. Bend your right knee, come into Parsvakonasana, reaching that right arm overhead, left arm overhead, tucking your chin, and coming into this side stretch. So right, yes, Danny, so the right knee is pressing to the right, opening it out to the right, just a little bit more, breathing. Nice, you two. One more breath here. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna bring that left hand down to the ground, move your block, step back to downward dog. And just take downward dog. Take a couple roll throughs, lifting to the tiptoes, rolling through. Yes, and back. And rolling through and back. And then let's look through the hands and just walk the feet forward to meet the hands, bend the knees, let the head go, and roll up to standing. And we'll shake that out. So there's a lot of inner groin stretch here. So let's take it again. So block to the outside of the left foot, right foot steps back. We've got the back toes turned in quite a bit, front heels intersecting the arch of the back foot. And then we're gonna slowly start to bring that left hand down to the block and the right arm up towards the sky. And as, yes, Andy, there you go, straightening that front leg. Now here's the leg action. You're reaching to the outer arch of your right foot in the back, pressing down through the ball of the left foot. And then can both of you spin the heart just a little bit more from, from your left hand, pressing down into that block, opening up a little bit more. Just a couple more breaths here. Trikonasana. Top arm's gonna reach all the way overhead in a side stretch, the palm facing down, your upper arm by the ear. Still, you're turning the heart up to the sky, breathing. And then we start to bend that left knee. And I'm gonna suggest bring your block around in front of the left leg, left foot, and then press, so Danny, you can see I brought it all the way on the inside of my foot. And then I can use my arm to press the left knee back and open the chest up towards the sky even more. Yes, yes. Top arms all the way overhead, reaching overhead. Yes, palm facing down. Yes, Andy's gonna hug the ear with the upper arm. Yes, like that. Breathing. Parsvakonasana. Side angle stretch. One more breath. And then bringing that right hand down, move your block, plant your hands, step back to downward dog. And just walk that out. Taking 2 roll throughs. Okay. And as you come to downward dog, again, let's walk the feet forward all the way towards the hands, bend the knees, let the head go, and roll up to standing. So I'm just checking, do you gals feel like there's leg, inner groin restriction or lower back? I'm just curious where you might feel the hips. Where do you feel it, Danny? I'm just curious. Oh, the side chest and the hamstrings.
Yeah, always the hams.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's do this. We're gonna try that again. I'm gonna try to show it slightly differently. because, you know, our standing poses, and particularly these two poses, are really great for the organs that we're working with. It's a little tricky that we get cut off, right? But we do. So let's take that block on the high side over to the right. And again, we'll just step that right foot forward, right? The left foot is back. The front heel, if you drew a line, is intersecting the arch of that back foot. And then if you feel your hip bones, you actually want to roll your left hip bone forward in the frontal plane of the right hip bone, because that helps get your right thigh bone up and in, and then we twist the spine. So here's what I want to show. If I try this, so Andy, right here as I do this, and I don't do this action, I feel this pinch right here. It's like right here. And what I'm talking about, you guys can just see this. So what happens is if I do this, I can't get anywhere. But if I externally rotate this right thigh bone, and it's literally like I'm making room, I come down, this stabilizes, and then I turn away from it, right, with the spine. That's very different than this. I can't get anywhere here. Is that making sense? So yes, okay, so let's try this. It's a little detailed, but we're gonna take our right hand to the right thigh and literally turn it out, externally rotate that right thigh bone. That brings your left hip and your left thigh in, and then we slide the hand down to find the block, right? And then the left hand can spin the chest and the rib cage up towards the sky. Your tailbone's pointing towards that back heel, and then you can take the top arm up. So this should feel a little better to access that. Yeah. And then Andy, bring your top hand forward. Feel how it's kind of way back behind you. Just bring it right in line with the bottom hand. Oh, this is going to ring. Hang on. Sorry, people. It's like, no. Right there. And then let's take that top arm overhead. So here we are, Trikonasana. You're pressing into the right hand to spin the heart up to the sky. See if you can play with your hips a little bit, pointing your tailbone towards the back heel. And then that back foot, you're lifting the inner arch of the left foot, back foot, pressing down through the ball of the right foot. Now, we're gonna bend that front knee, bring your block around in front and turn it to the medium side. And as you do that, press your knee back, and your top hand is in line with your back foot, Parsvakonasana, side angle pose. You can see it in my body there. Yes, nice. That is what I'm talking about. Let's take 2 breaths there. And then from here, let's go ahead and turn that block up and come all the way up to standing and step the feet together and just kind of wiggle that out. Does that make more sense in here? A little less the blocky, yeah. The blocky kind of move, it doesn't work for us. So we're gonna do the left side. So move your block to the left side on the high side, left foot forward towards that block, right foot back toes turn in. And again, and Andy, I would step a little longer between your feet, just a little bit. And then left hand's gonna externally rotate that left thigh bone. Your right hip bone comes around. So the right hip bone is definitely farther in the frontal plane. Left hand comes down to your block, get it right under your shoulder. Then your right hand is gonna spin the rib cage, opening up, top arm overhead. Then once you're there, stabilize your feet. Find your feet, Nice straight legs. So Danny, we're straightening those legs as much as possible. And then top arm's gonna reach all the way overhead. And Andy, I bet you can point your tailbone a little more towards the right heel. Yeah, just, yes, right there, breathing. Now let's take our block, turn it down one, bend your left knee, and you might have to step a little longer between your feet. And then you're pressing that knee back with your left arm, top arm's reaching overhead. If your hip is up a little bit, bend the front knee a little more. Andy's gonna bend that front knee a little more, maybe step a little longer between your feet, just a tad. And then top arm, palm is facing down towards the ground. And just so you know, Danny, it's just a little hard to see you in the angle that I have, but press the knee a little bit more to the left. The inner left groin is moving towards the side of the mat that you can see. And then breathe. Couple big breaths here. You gals look good. One more breath. This time we're gonna turn down, right hand on the ground, move your block, press back to downward dog. Let's walk that out. And take a couple of roll throughs, rolling through and back. So the standing poses, some of our standing poses are literally the bread and butter of our practice. So we are going to be doing some nice standing poses this fall. And then next time you take a roll through, then come down to child's pose. Just make your way down to child's pose. And in your child's pose, start to reach the arms out in front and walk your hands over to the right with the left hand on top of the right, and breathe into your left lung and left side waist and rib cage. Couple long, big breaths. Hands are over to the right, left hand on top of the right hand. You're breathing, take it, past your knees over to the right. And then slowly, slowly make your way through center, over to the left, right hand on top of that left hand, breathing. And back to center. And slowly, slowly, let's make our way up to sitting and bring the knees together. And just take a moment sitting on your shins, shut the eyes, and the hands right on top of your thighs. Just taking a moment sitting here. Yeah. And then we'll slowly open the eyes. And as you do, make your way so you're sitting on your sit bones. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together and take yourself into a nice forward bend, the knees wide. You've got a nice wide diamond shape between the legs, and let the head go. And breathe into this shape. So breathing into the back body, and notice how this shape, it takes you inward. It moves you away from the flurry of the world, letting those shoulders relax. Let the head be heavy. And from here, slowly, slowly roll yourself up to sitting, and we'll lean back on the hands and stretch the legs out. Just shake that out for a moment. And then bend your knees and hold the tops of your knees and round your back, tuck your chin, and just slide yourself slowly down to the ground. And we're going to go back to windshield wiper as a little cool down to move towards Shavasana. Yeah. So check in how your lower back and this movement feels, which we know so well, right? We know so well. And as you're ready, let yourself find your way to Shavasana. Stretching the legs out. Make sure you're warm enough. If you have an eye pillow or a blanket or a bolster, let yourself get all those things that you like. And remembering that, this is this time of self-care and self-nurturing. And breathing here into this vessel that houses your spirit. And we'll close with this poem called Now It Is Fall. This is by Edith Sondergran. When all the golden birds fly home across the blue deep water, on shore I sit wrapped in its scattering glitter. Departure rustles through the trees. This farewell is vast, and separation draws close, but reunion, that also is certain. My head on my arm, I fall asleep easily. On my eyes, a mother's breath. From her mouth to my heart, sleep, child, and dream now the sun is gone. Let your breath deepen here. And just check in how you feel. How's your body, your heart, your mind? And remember your own intention for coming back to your practice. And as you're ready, bend the knees, slowly rolling to the right side, and pause there. And find your way up to sitting. And let's just take a moment sitting with the eyes shut. And bring your palms together at the heart. It's closing our practice with gratitude and offering the benefit of our practice for all beings. So gently bow your head towards your heart. Namaste.